Hello everybody, can you hear me, can you see me? Welcome everyone to the Friday night live stream, the Aquarium Adventures Fishy Business Show. I keep saying this, but it's not a show, it's me talking to whoever's there. Welcome everyone, hope you're well, hope you're having a fantastic Friday as they say. If you can hear me and see me, by all means let me know while I test all the other things that are going on, like comments, passing wind. Nice to see you. First to have liked, indeed. Dr. Awesome is in the house and straight back out the house. Going to miss today's live, we'll catch the replay. I've just arrived in Peru and have to go out in food. Yes, I did mean to get in touch with you, but I also saw your post that you were off to Peru, so I imagined you wouldn't be up for joining us tonight. But he is one of the live stream guests I have lined up for weeks to come. Who else have we got in? If you're here, say hello in the chat, let us know where you are, what the weather's like. That seems to be a thing. Like Ross is having a lovely warm and sunny Edinburgh. He's having a lovely warm and sunny Edinburgh? He's from a lovely warm and sunny Edinburgh. Brian from a sunny Northumberland. No rain for change. Sunny Sheffield. It has been absolutely glorious this week. I have done many a washing and got them hung out. Putting the solar panels to good use this week. Humble Apple Grumble says hello, as does NJW. Hi from Doncaster. Hi from Sheffield. Dangerous Dan's in. Brian's feeling fantastic because he put his big boy pants on, put the foot down and said, the PC's mine tonight. And then I woke up with a sore head. Kaylee's in. Good to see you. As is Martin. Loud and clear says, Kaylee, thank you. All good. Perfect. That's always good. ABC. What's up, Fish Fam? Nice to see you. As is Aquarium Delirium. I do like a little bit of rhyming. ABC is lurking while fishing. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, fishing on a lovely, just cooling evening. That'd be much better than sitting here talking to you lot. Vibes Aquatic, nice to see you again. And in County Durham, it's a sunny evening. Right, well, let's get the admin out of the way. There's no guest this week. It's just me. You're stuck with me. I have reached out to a whole bunch of people, but they're either very busy or very rude. And none of them have got back to me yet. But this is a testament to how warm it is here. I've had to get an ice bucket for the beers. What are we doing with warm beer? That's not a good thing. So I have a plethora of Northern Monk beers for this evening's delectations, starting with... Oh, there's an ice cube stuck to the bottom of it. We'll start with the one that's not quite so strong. Eternal Juice Hazy IPA. I think this is Faith with a twist. I can't get that ice cube to get off. So as it's sunny, we'll go for something that's got a bit of a juicy twist. ABC has become a member, has in fact been a member for 11 months. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it when you... all these long-term members that are here to just watch this nonsense every week. So, while I pour... Oh, I didn't give you the ASMR experience. While I pour my drink and I tell you that we don't have any guests tonight, unless of course anyone wants to jump in Discord and come on and tell me something, I do have tales of joy and tales of woe. So this, for all our new viewers, this is part fish, part beer review, part chat nonsense. This is the beer part. So this is my favourite type of tipple where you can't see through it. Nice and hazy. You can see one of my tales of woe there where I nearly chopped my finger off last weekend. Stitchy's holding it together nicely. Oh, that's delicious. That's just what you need. So, no guests this week. Some updates. You might have seen my latest short, which I released today. I'd been really worried about a couple of my fish. I don't know why. This is how negative my brain works. Walking past the Discus display tank the last few days, I've noticed two fish hanging out in a corner, and I'm like, Nothing good comes from fish hanging around in a corner. And then I suddenly thought, except for unless they've laid. And that's exactly what they've done. So we've got some discus babies. We've got them. They're day 2 wigglers, I think we're at now. They're going to get eaten, which thoroughly upset my daughter when I showed her them. I was like, oh, come and look at these babies. And then she was like, oh, great, how many are we going to be able to raise? I was like, none. They're going to get eaten. So they're in a community tank. There's no way they're going to survive. And even if they do survive, they'll probably get sucked up by the filter. So she was a bit distraught about that. But I've at least got a proven pair in there now. And they're both the same strain. Yay! Which is always good. Yay, my buttons work today. So, that's the good news. We have a question. Nabokov fan, please be sure to smash that like button on the way in. Definitely. We need some likes. So the good news is we've got some breeding activity. Not entirely sure whether to do anything about it yet. So there are a couple of the red linker discus. So a really nice strain of fish anyway. I really do like them. So it might be a fun breeding project to take them out of the main tank, put them in their own tank, see if we can't get a few fry. Maybe one day have mega tank as a discus tank. Who knows? Fish Vet's just picked up his supplies en route back from the pub. We'll talk to you soon. The question we've all wondered, says Nabokov fan, how on earth did you get through the whole filter build with the barrel and not say or use liquid rubber? I thought that was your jam. Oh, don't worry, there's plenty of liquid rubber content coming soon. I didn't need any. So this, for anyone who's wondering, has been my latest series on my backyard pond, I guess you'd call it, backyard pond build, where I've built... There's music coming from somewhere. Is that me? Who knows? Sorry, I get distracted easily. So I built a pond in my back garden, swithering as to call it a wildlife pond, or to have it as a fish pond, or koi pond, or whatever kind of pond. The latest video was putting a filter on it, so we've gone for a bog filter or a wetland filter, I think sometimes they're called, which are generally, you have your big pond and then you have a small pond above it and next to it, and then you run from one into the other. But I've gone for a take on that, which is filling an old whiskey barrel. It's actually a Jim Beam barrel, which, if anybody likes to send me any gifts, if you're out there, Jim Beam, watching this, my favourite bourbon, it's an old Jim Beam barrel, so we got that from a local supplier, chopped the top off, filled it full of rocks and graded sizes of gravel, and made it a little bog filter. So we're going to get that planted up this weekend, and that'll be that finished. And added a solar panel and solar setup to it to run it without costing me money, because that was the one thing that was putting the wife off having it as a fish pond, was she didn't want it to add to our ongoing costs. So she doesn't mind a little bit of outlay, but no ongoing costs. So I've got a little 100-watt solar panel, and all the other gubbins set up. Unfortunately, the batteries died. I'm hoping it's just a dud battery, but I'm going to do a bit of battery testing. So I've got a couple of good old-fashioned lead-acid batteries. These are all... So this one's off an old golf trolley. So they are deep cycle in that sense of the word, like leisure batteries. So I'm going to try some of the ones I've got now, because I've been going down a minefield or a rabbit hole of how do batteries work. I never knew there were so many different types of batteries, and they could be so complex. So we've gone a whole thing about batteries. So if you want to know about the solar setup, I have been researching it endlessly all this week, trying to get the pond to be off-grid, basically. And I think I can achieve it, but it's how much faffery is involved. So if you want to hear about that, then let me know. If you have any questions about anything at all, type the word question into your question, and I will see your question and respond to your question. So we've had some pond work. The pond's looking great. We've got loads of plants in there now. The good lady wife has been out and bought a load of extra rushes and floating plants and all kinds of things. It looks really good. I'm really happy with it. I think it's fantastic. But the barrel filter, with it being a barrel and designed to hold water, doesn't actually need any silicone, any artificial liquid rubbery type things at all. It's just that it holds water. It's great. It's doing its job brilliantly. So I'm really happy with that. What I'm not so happy with is, so that's like 3 or 4 videos I've made in this pond, and those of you who have been here for a while, they know this channel is mostly about whatever I happen to be doing, I'll film it, and then that's the channel. There's no like strategy here or any of that stuff. So I've done a little bit of a pond series and everything's gone pfft, so people are not interested in my pond stuff. So that's been a bit disappointing that they've not performed very well, those videos, because I thought they were really fun and I enjoyed doing them. So it's a shame that they didn't go quite as well as they could have done. But I have an antidote to that, which I shall reveal shortly. Said Aquatic says, Happy Friday. Brian, have you been naughty again? ABC, if you would like to be a guest, I did not even think to invite you, I'll be perfectly honest, and that's not because I'm too big or you're too small or any of that stuff. I've been focusing on getting guests who aren't necessarily YouTubers, but I've nothing against having YouTubers on either, so I don't know why I went with that, but I've been reaching out to people. My idea is generally to add some credibility. So I know last week's guest was a YouTuber, but they were also a pleco specialist. So that was what I was going for. So I've been asking people who are in the sciencey field, they have some expertise in something specific about the hobby, rather than just being, well, let's get some more YouTubers on. But that's a perfectly valid thing as well. And we can talk about YouTube and FishTube and how that affects the hobby. So if anybody is interested in being a guest, I'm totally up for it, because I think all perspectives are useful. But if you are a YouTuber, I'm trying to think how to say this. I want to concentrate on things that are bigger than just, hi, I'm a fish tuber, oh, you're a fish tuber, we're both fish tubers, integrate being fish tubers, right, see you next week. More about some specific questions that I want to ask about whether it's good that we have all this information on the internet, whether it's good that we have these people sharing all this information. So recently there's been lots of talk about the whole nature aquarium and they're not even nature aquariums, that's the thing that really bugs me, but the whole don't do water changes, don't feed your fish, don't do this, do that, do the other. And it's so easy to have a message either completely butchered or just missed completely, because people only see the headlines. So I think there's some mileage in a discussion around why do we exist as people who make videos on YouTube? What is the point of me? I'm not an expert in anything. If my channel is testament to anything, it's that I can cock up anything I can lay my hands to. So I often get people ask me for advice where I'm a bit like, I don't know. Sometimes I do know, but often I don't know. But I get the impression that a lot of people that I talk to will take whatever I say verbatim. Okay, let's rephrase that. They'll take the first 5% of the things I say verbatim and then ignore everything else after that. Because most people either, they already know what answer they want, so they'll twist whatever you say to fit that, or they've no idea and will only listen to 5% of what you say and then just make the rest up on their own. So I feel that we have a little bit of, if we have any authority in that, and I mean by authority people watching this, so if there's 40 people watching this right now, there's 40 people who are interested in fish and might take something I say and go away and do something about it. But let's say it's one of my videos and I make a video on how to do a thing and I get a couple of thousand views. So in that first week, 2,000 people have watched my video, and because they've either been interested in finding out how to do that thing, but they're putting a load of trust in me that I'm going to present this as if I know what I'm doing. And often I don't, and often I need you to watch 4 or 5 of my videos. So like in the Mega Tank build, I always said, like, if you're planning on doing this yourself, don't copy what I'm doing here. wait until this video is a year old and come back and see if the thing still holds water, and then do it, and it'll make sense. But yeah, I get slightly uneasy given that I don't have any scientific background or any credibility in the area that I'm seen as someone that can give advice. And I feel there's a whole load of people that either couldn't care less about the case. There's a whole load of people who... And there's two types of couldn't care less people. There's the couldn't care less people because they don't think it affects them. And there's couldn't care less people because they only are interested in peddling whatever bullshit it is that they want to peddle. So that's the kind of discussion I want to have with other YouTubers, rather than it just being a love fest and we all say how great each other are. I want this series of having guests on to be something along the lines of, or focusing on two main questions. What are we doing right and what are we doing wrong? So things that are going well in the hobby, things that us making videos or whatever field it is that you're in, the things that you're doing, what is that doing that's making this better? And then what are we doing wrong? That could be what advice should we be avoiding, what advice needs to be updated, and what wings of the hobby are causing damage, and what wings of society are causing damage to the hobby. So it can be anything from what are we doing right, as in how are we keeping our fish better, to large ecological style questions. So I hope that makes sense, but I'd love to have you on ABC, if only to get you to change your name so you've only got one set of ABCs. Vibes Aquatic, it says Kenny, actually. And then Kenny Kirkpatrick says, question, how mega tank? Mega tank how? That is my antidote. So when I said I was making a series of pond videos and they hadn't been very popular, you'll know what I think the number one way to get popular again is to have a disaster. And with Megatank, one is never far away. So Megatank is not very well. Megatank is a bit damp on the outside, where it shouldn't be a bit damp on the outside. So I don't want to call it a disaster yet, but it is leaking. And to put a silver lining on that cloud, I know why it's leaking, I can see why it's leaking, and to put everyone to ease, it's nothing to do with liquid rubber. It's nothing to do with the inside. It's 100% my fault. It's a construction fault. It's a load issue. So for a few days now it's been leaking and I've been trying to figure it out. And that's not true. For a couple of days I was trying to ignore it and hoping it would just go away on its own, and yeah, as always, that didn't work. So it's leaking from the front, and I don't know, can I find... hang on a second. Let me see if I can find a picture. Oh God, go away. My channel. I'll see if I can share something with you. Right, okay. Hello! I hate it. I hate my own voice. Can you see this? Small face. Sort of. Let me just move that. No, move that. No. There you go. So, if you can see... No, you can't see me there. If you can see me hovering the mouse around here, the water's coming out of here. And I've been trying to figure out what's been going on. And going through old videos to see if I missed something. Did I not put screws in somewhere? Because what I actually noticed was that there was water coming out of here. And I thought, oh, that's a bit strange. But then when I looked at it, if you can see the construction, so the base of Megatank is this 18mm sheet of plywood, to which I've got these two 2x4s or C16s or whatever they're called, are screwed into that, and then the glass backs up against here. These two in the middle are now a good 3mm further out past the base. So either I haven't put in enough screws, a screw has snapped, or something else has gone wrong. But obviously the most pressure in the tank is at the bottom, and it's pushing it out. And it's pushed it out a good couple of mil, and that's obviously broke the seal in there, and it's leaking out. So I'm in the process of draining the tank now. So I'm draining it very slowly. So by tomorrow morning, it'll be half full, using the water in the garden, all that good stuff. I can get the fish out, get them into other tanks around the fish room, drain it properly, dry it off, reseat this, put in a poop-ton more screws, basically, and bigger screws. So I've been looking back through all my old videos to see if I can see the point where I screwed them in here. Now I can only see this top level now because the bottom one's obviously covered up. I'm slightly concerned, and I have no reason why I would think I would do this. I'm slightly concerned that I've only screwed in from the top through to here, so there's only a little bit into this base, but I'm pretty sure I did screw in each timber individually. But I won't know until I start to take it apart. So I think it's fixable, and I hope it's fixable. I'm just glad that it's all the previous leaks. I couldn't figure out why it was leaking. I thought it was, the liquid rubber's not working, the silicon's failed, something else has gone wrong. But this is the first time I've actually seen visible movement in that timber, and it's quite, you can see it. It's yay big. It's moved, and it's quite scary because I remember I was underneath, like literally underneath Megatank, looking around, seeing if I could see any water coming out of anywhere else. No, it's all coming out of this bit at the front. And it was as I was coming back out, because I'd painted the front of it black. As I was coming back out from underneath here, I looked up and I could see timber because it pushed it past the point that I had painted it when it was flush. And I was like, oh shit! Imagine that had gone while I was under it. That'd have been end of me. So I drained it a little bit just to relieve some of the pressure, and I'm draining it now a bit more, and then we'll get everything out and get it emptied and hopefully get it sorted. I'll make a video about this. I'll get to make a dramatic thumbnail and a dramatic title about, oh my god, minutes from disaster or something like that. And it galls me to say it, but it will be popular. Like that, I don't know if this is the hobby for me, this whole YouTubing, because I'm only popular when I screw something up, and it's so demoralising to walk in to see, oh no, that's terrible, and then in the back of your mind going, but I'll make a good video. I want to make good videos about good things and have them be popular, so I can concentrate on them rather than being, because I'm subconsciously waiting for something to go wrong so I can make a video about it, knowing that it'll be a good thing to do. So that is the Megatank update. It is not going well. I am a little bit upset about it and a little bit happy about it, but all the fish are fine. Everything's working well in Megatank, apart from the whole holding water business. But I'm glad that I can see what the problem is, so I can at least address it and do something more about it. So that's where we're up to, anyway. Clark's Mini Fish Room says hello, as does Aquarium Delirium. I do like saying that. From a foggy mouth of the Tynes. Really, is it foggy? It's still quite hot here. Okay, alright, miles away. Let me try and, you need batteries for golf? Well, if you have a golf buggy, it's a battery to drive the buggy. An electric buggy. Rebecca's here, hello. Georgie boy. How's the weather here? The weather's lovely. Bailing hot. No joy in getting anyone from Fluval. Oh, do you know what? I haven't actually asked anyone from Fluval. That'd be an interesting one, wouldn't it? I'll put that on my list. Is there a theme to the quiz this week? So there is no theme to the quiz this week. I have tried to include some fishy questions, as always, but it's getting harder and harder to come up with fishy questions. So, no theme at all, but I might be reducing the amount of fishy questions as I'm finding it hard to think for more of them. Brilliant idea. Yeah, well, it might be a good idea. See if I can get some proper trade people in. Don't ask me for interviews. My big podcast one comes out tomorrow, so everyone can see what a train wreck I am to talk to without any planning. Well, maybe that you could come on and do your redemption on my podcast. Not podcast, this show, podcast, live stream, call it what you will. Oh, I think this technically is now a podcast, because I was asked to categorise it by YouTube, and it set up a new playlist and everything for me. I didn't do any of it, it's just done it. So, yes, I've got a podcast now. This is it. Question, kind of a run from last week's question. Have you got... Nope, I'll start that again. You have a group of Discus in your tank, and a female decides to like Easy, a red jaguar, and Explosion like each other. What would you do? I wouldn't do anything. So it happens all the time. Fish pair up and break up, especially in community tanks. The reason... I would just let it run its course, and they would soon, if they were so well bonded that they didn't ever break the bond, then I think the important thing is not to let them breed. So in a community tank, that's almost impossible to let them breed anyway, because the rest of the fish will pick off any eggs, or if they do get to regulars or free swimmers, it's inevitable. So I'm expecting to go down to this tank tomorrow, and there'll be no free swimmers. They'll just all be gobbled up, because as soon as they go free swimming, all the other fish will be like, dinner time. So you don't really need to do anything in a community tank. The way they get really bonded together is if you put them in as pairs in their own tank. And so just don't do that. It should be okay. ACO just released their video today on the topic. Really, really well done. Oh, I don't know. Aquarium Co-op? Oh, yes, Aquarium Co-op. I saw that, yeah. I have many pairings, but it seems partially each other's choice. The female makes the move, and then the male... Oh, the big wasp. Go away. Thank you. Yeah, so the fish themselves rarely know what strain they are, and they aren't discerning. I've never seen a racist fish that's like, oh, no, you're a pigeon blood, I don't want anything to do with you. I'm a blue diamond, I'm pure. They don't care, so they will just randomly pair. But there's a big difference from fish pairing up and breeding, and then from breeding to producing offspring from them. They're all big steps that's quite hard to have much to do with, really. So you have to go to quite a bit of effort to put a pair in a tank and raise fry from them. It tends to not just happen. Sorry, I'm miles behind. I'll see if I can catch up. For those of you who are just entering, we will have a quiz tonight. The prize will be a 20% discount voucher for anything at aquariumadventures.co.uk. Then I don't need to send you out anything, because I'm really bad at it. And whoever won last week, I know I've not sorted that out yet, but I'll sort that out as well. The quiz will be at 10 o'clock, so you have about 30 minutes to prepare. Scott's in. Sorry I'm late, I was just feeding the fish and tidying my fish room and realising the time. Watching on 2 times speed to catch up. Oh, poor you. Kenny says, the best thing about you is that you take sides and only show the best bits. No, I'll say that again. The best thing about you is that you take sides and you don't only show the best bits. You should definitely have people on the chat and talk about all different topics. Yeah, I'd like to. Don't take sides. Well, no, I have taken sides in the past. Sometimes I'm happy to sit on the fence, but if I have an opinion, I'm also happy to share it. So if someone's being a dick, I'll say, you're being a dick. And it's got me into trouble in the past, where if our friend the King of DIY joins us tonight, we'll tell you. It does cause problems when I do take sides. But I think I'm fair. I hope I'm fair. Some of the best scientists have no qualifications. What is more dodgy is people claiming a background for qualifications they don't have. Indeed, and these are some of the more nefarious things. So that would fall under the category of things that we're doing wrong. We are putting trust and we're putting faith in these more nefarious characters. If you ever want to talk about biotopes, North American native fish, let me know. I'm currently taking uni classes online for aquatic biology and ichthyology. Yeah. Not a YouTuber, but would you enjoy a conversation with someone like George Farmer? Yes, and he is a YouTuber. But yeah, I have spoken to George a couple of times, so that might be one on the list. As would ABC. It's... I want to set... I don't want this to sound bad, but I want to set quite a low bar for entry. So if you have something you want to talk about, I'm willing to give you a platform to talk about it. What I'm not willing to do is just the whole pat each other on the back thing. So, North American native fish, yeah, I do not know much about that. So that would be something that you can teach me about. That would be good. Especially, I'm also interested in... so if I ever do manage to convince Rebecca to come on, I'm interested in how you do study at uni for things like this. So, like, where does the hobby stop and the research start, or how much can you combine the two? Questions like that. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested in it. Save all the documents and classes. I regret deleting anything at my undergrad. Right. Oh no. Jimmy P, hello. Ray says, you liked my pond videos. Thank you, Ray. You're one of the few. Not very many people did like my pond videos. Oh, that's not true. Everyone that watched them did actually seem to like them, but not very many people watched them. Guess that's what I mean to say. Mega Tank Bingo. So I'm trying to remain upbeat about Mega Tank. I mean, I have had plenty of experience of it going wrong. So I'm hopeful that this is but a mere bump in the road. It's been months. That thing has been working flawlessly for months. It even got to the point where, I made a video ages ago where I talked about the mental hardship of going into my fish room, because the first thing I do, I have a roller door on my fish room where I roll up the garage door, and I spent weeks and weeks and weeks, if not months, just petrified that when I'd click the button then the door would start rising if there was water there. But oh no! And it was quite telling that I did it earlier in the week. When I pressed the button, it came up and I went, oh, there's water there. Where's that come from? Oh no! It took me a while, so I was kind of heartened by the fact that I didn't immediately go, oh god, the tank's leaking. It was like, oh, there's some water. I wonder where that's come from. And then delayed reaction. Oh no! I'd love to do a pond in the flooded part of my garden, but I have no clue how to do it. You just hire yourself a mini digger, try not to kill yourself, and dig a big hole. There really isn't that much more to it than that. Do I need pillars or cross beams on the base? Is the load splitting front to back or top to bottom? I don't know what that means. Do you need pillars or cross beams on the base? So the base is strong as all hell. It's just the bit where I've connected the front panel to the base isn't. I think I've got it under control, but watch the video that I'll be making this weekend and let me know where you think I might be missing anything. You've got to put support struts, far too much pressure for screws to hold. Support struts. I don't know what support struts are. So, yeah, maybe that's where I've gone wrong. I don't know how support struts would work. So, for the load-bearing stuff, for the going downwards, I do have support struts. I've got support struts all over the place. I don't know how you would put supports in for things pushing that way. Me? I don't know. And, well, I've worked out the pressure and the load-bearing capabilities of the screws that I intend to put in it, and it shouldn't be too much pressure for the screws that I'm going to put in. I just need to put in enough of them to make sure. But, hey, I've been wrong before. Sure I can be wrong again. Can we suggest a title? Yeah, go for it. So, I'm thinking something along the lines of, well, it has to have disaster in the title or on the thumbnail, because that's the thing that gets everybody going, getting them clicking. I don't know. Mega tank blowout to disaster, something along those lines. Yeah, let me know. Any suggestions for titles? Fish Vet, who is also having some mega tank problems of his own. As you said in Discord, I'm glad it's not me. Yes. So Fish Vet, if you are interested in joining Discord, there's a link up here. You can click on there, or one of my fantastic mods will know about putting it in chat right now. I mean, it's my Discord server, so I would say this, but I think it's a fantastic resource for like-minded fish keepers to chat about all their fishy problems and work through anything in a very non-abrasive, accusatory, frictionless way. Everyone seems to be very well mannered and helpful. So Fish Vet is on there and has a couple of massive tanks, and it's always when you go away, isn't it? As soon as you go away, you do something stupid or an accident happens, and he's had his own share of problems. Imagine the views you would have got if you captured it giving way whilst you were under it. I mean, that would have been the epic title, wouldn't it? I died trying to fix my fish tank. Ignore what's popular. Well, I do ignore what's popular. No, that's not true. I do enjoy the hobby. Like, I really like building this pond. It's been great fun. I've enjoyed it. It looks great. I'm dead happy with it. It's hard to ignore that the views for those videos aren't as good as they would be for some of my other less interesting to me or less fun topics. I mean, even me unboxing a Fluval FX2 got more views than me making a bog filter. And even as I was making the Fluval video, I was like, God, this is the worst video I've ever made. But I get it. I'm an aquarium channel, not a pond channel. If I'd got 400 pond videos, then maybe it would have done a bit better. But who knows? And I won't be the first person to make a career out of screwing up. You're quite right. That's definitely the case. I flooded my house, but you wouldn't guess whose fault it was. Nah, that's too easy. Mine. Right, I'm going to try and catch up a little bit. Here's a good question. Let's focus on the positives. What's everyone drinking tonight? So I am almost finished my first one, which was Eternal Juice by Northern Monk. If you're listening, Northern Monk, come on. Sure, I'm due a sponsorship. This evening is almost sponsored by Northern Monk, because next up we have Transient by Northern Monk, a hazy DDH, which is double dry hops, followed by the old classic Heathen Hazy IPA. if we're really thirsty, I've got this Aztec Mountain IPA from Mad Squirrel, which is one of my favourites as well. So that's what I'm drinking. What are you drinking? Let us know. Pinot Grigio for Rebecca. North American native fish issues, most of them are illegal in UK, which is one of the many reasons I don't know anything about it. You mean if I made it onto your show, you wouldn't stroke my ego endlessly? I would do some ego stroking. I mean, I'm all about sharing some wealth, but I'd like to have some modicum of credibility to it. And I struggle, I mean, if anybody who has received one of my emails is out there, I struggle to word or find a reason why it would be worth it. So, any of the big channels, I'd love to have some of the big channels on it, your aquarium co-ops, and ask them some questions about stuff. I'd even love to speak to the King of DIY about his effect on the hobby and things like that. So, there's some obvious juxtaposition between what is normally done as a YouTube collaboration, where you go and you go, I'm me, you're you, we're both great. My subscribers go and subscribe to him, and your subscribers go and subscribe to her. I'm more interested in... I just can't do that. I don't... There's no value proposition in it for me. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'd love to have a conversation with, let's say, one of the big channels, Aquarium Co-op. I'd love to have some conversations with them about the business side of things, some of the decisions he took early on in his YouTube career, what he's doing for the hobby now in terms of becoming a major player in the equipment and the online space, I guess, all that kind of stuff. But there's no way I can pull off a request without it looking for, can I have some of your subscribers, please? I just don't see how it would work. So I'd like to put some value into it where it's not the big people that I'm going after. It's not other YouTubers all the time. Happy to have other YouTubers. If any other YouTubers right now want to jump into Discord, let me know. I'll bring you on. We can have a chat about something. But I'd rather, like the Fluville, if I can get someone from Fluville on to have a discussion about why. Someone from JBL. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why have you stopped shipping to the UK, blah blah blah, whatever it might be. Not just YouTubers. I had an idea about putting something out in my local fish club to who are the experts, who's the old people that have been doing this the longest, who's the new, young, innovative people who have the new ideas, get them on. But surprisingly not, most people don't want to come on camera and present to an audience. It's not about... It's just not a thing that most people consider they don't want to do. I mean, a lot of you out there watching this right now have YouTube channels, and you'll know it's quite nerve-wracking making videos and presenting yourself. But we get used to it because we do it week in, week out, and even then, doing it week in, week out, we don't get used to it, and we still stumble and we make mistakes, and we struggle with the whole engaging with the camera and the audience and all that kind of stuff. Someone else that doesn't do that regularly, they've got no incentive to do any of that, and they don't want to do any of that. So it's a very difficult thing. I live by a statement I learned years ago, says Fishy, which is that the more you know about a subject comes the realisation of how little you know. Yeah, there's is it the Dunning-Kruger effect, or what it is? Yeah, that's a very true statement. I have a massively low tolerance of people who have paper qualifications, who spout crap but have no actual experience. I think I have a similar. One of my biggest regrets is I never went to uni. I don't have any qualifications in anything. So my proper work life, I mean, I have some of the like Microsoft credentials and things like that, but in my proper work life, I meet people all the time who are mega qualified and they're fucking idiots. Some of the people that I work with that I respect the most have things like degrees in theology and they work in the IT industry, and you're like, but they're way better than the people who have degrees in computer science, or there's some people that just make a living out of doing qualifications, but never actually press the buttons to make the things. Right, we're going to start off on this one. This is the transient DDH. Is that right? Double dry hops. Am I learning? And then we've got about 15 minutes before the quiz starts. So I hope you've all been boning up. There's all the usual questions like, what country is this a silhouette of? And what Jean-Claude Van Damme movie is this? How do you study at uni? Give up on ever making a good income, sacrifice everything, and then with ichthyology, nobody knows what you study. Indeed. Posted an image on Discord to clarify the stress question. It's bending, but rather than that way. Horizontal bending, so it's... So if this is the 2x4 and this is the glass here, and then there's the side, top, and this is the base that the glass is resting against, it's going that way. So not as much as that, obviously, but that's what's happening. Oh god, I'm so far behind. Right, okay, speed round. Let's questions. If you're watching your pond videos and having a bug filter to my pond, great, hope it works. You must all swim in a small pond. We can talk about how to handle stress on Discord, no worries. I have limited info, but I have the basics for stress engineering. Megatank tore itself apart? Oh, that's a good one. Scroll up the other info, the other one above. This is not helping in my moving on quickly, but let's have a look. Little face. So, water weight bends base. So there's no way it's bending the base because each of these, if you can see that, can you see that? So here there's struts across there and in between each one, and they all have legs and they all have load bearing legs as well. So there's definitely no deflection going down the way. So I don't think it's that. Glass weight pushes down here over time. Depending how this is secured, wood could lever up and split over time. So there's no splitting or anything like that. What's happening is, it's not the glass weight, it's the water weight. So all the water, the weight of the water all presses down. So the greatest weight is at this area, but it's the pressure of the water. And either I've done something stupid and not connected these to this properly, or something is sheared in there. So I did manage to find some video of myself screwing down the top one, and I only put one screw in. Not just one, but one like every 8 inches or whatever it is on the top one. But I'm sure on the bottom, on the middle and the bottom one, I put in 2 every 8 inches. But maybe I didn't, and that's what's wrong. And I'm just relying on a poxy little screw. Who knows? All will be revealed when I do my investigations. Oh, that is delicious. Right, I'm trying to catch up. Sorry, I've forgotten where I was. You problem with... What? Larios. You... I can't read that, my glasses aren't working. You problem wouldn't know my face. Do you know Dave the barman died? I did not. I used to... Oh, you're talking to somebody else, sorry. There we go. Question. Been meaning to ask this for a while. Can you please explain why most knowledgeable fish guys have a bald head and a beard? It's one of the entrance requirements. You have to sign up an NDA. Oh no, I can't talk about it. But yeah, you basically have to take some pills to make yourself go bald and then grow a beard, which was a real challenge for me because I'm rubbish at growing beards. Judging by the silhouette and the question, it sounds like the answer is Banana Republic. Have you seen that? How can you see the questions already? Am I being duped by everyone? How do you know what the questions are? I have not posted any questions. I'll post now. I shall post a link. Am I on Big Face still? Play multiplayer. I want to host. If you are interested in playing the quiz, so as always, there will be a prize. 20% to the winner. A 20% off voucher for anything at aquariumadventures.co.uk. And depending how drunk I get with all my beers, I might give 10% to everyone else. Or the top 3 or something along those lines. We can always see the questions. What? How? Oh, that isn't good. I said when I worked for an aquatic store, the stress made all the men bald. Can't be that with me, because I don't really do stress. And I've been bald since I was about 21. Or not, maybe not quite this bald, but getting there. I've not been to a barber in over 20 years. I think it's more of a case that my hair revolted against me for my horrific haircuts when I was younger. I think I've shown you my hair photos of me when I was 16 with long hair. Ooh. I'm not an expert, but my thick locks are unaffected by my fish keeping disaster. My liver, on the other hand, is taking a pounding. I got an HND in computing. I think it's showing your age there. So there might be a couple of questions that you might need to be as old as me to get. I'll give you a clue now for those of you who are in early. Do you remember the TV show Cheers? And do you remember the theme tune? See if you can remind yourself of the theme tune. That might help you with one of the questions. An HND in computing and electronics, and then I ended up working on the end of an assembly line. Yeah, I've got a kid now who's just doing his GCSEs, in the middle of them, and having an existential crisis about what he wants to do when he grows up and how he hasn't decided yet, and it'll all be terrible. I keep saying, I'm 46, I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. The only thing I do know is it's not this. It's not my current job. But I've got friends who went to uni and did really good degrees and ended up doing nothing with them. I think I know more people who have got careers that are polar opposites to anything you would imagine their degree would get them into. But I think it's just valuable to get the experience of going to uni, whether or not it's to further your career. It's learning to learn. It's learning discipline. It's learning lots of techniques to get you through life. And that's the bit I feel I missed out on by not going to uni. And if I was going to go to uni, I was going to do civil engineering. I don't know why. Even to this day, it's just saying, oh, building bridges. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. I'd probably end up driving a steamroller or something. Hey, well, we've got 5 minutes to go. I had a flat top in the 80s and I still have my hair. I had a flat top as well. I've got a picture of me. Oh, I've got so many bad pictures of me. I've not had a haircut since COVID and it's down past my shoulders now. Yeah, my hair. I can't even remember what it's like to have hair. I have to worry about it. I've got more hair under my nose than over my nose. That's weird. Never thought that'd be a thing. I've no idea of the theme tune, but seen Fraser, which is Cheers. Yeah, so Fraser was in Cheers. That was before Frasier, the programme. That's the one. Good luck with his GCSEs. They're awful, but honestly, the grades don't matter in the end. Yeah, he's doing really well, actually. I did geology and learned I didn't need a degree to enjoy the bit of the subject I liked, so I mess around with software and dabble in mineralogy for fun. Yeah, why not? I get charged £94 for blue hair. Surely you can do that on your own at home. Right, we have 10 players. Let me copy the link again. Blue Rins, says Fresh Fit. Yeah, well, whenever my wife goes to the hairdressers, like, how much? And you go, how many times a year? I bought these clippers, and I'm never paying for a haircut again. So, just to explain the quiz to those who might be new, don't be scared. It's not all fishy expert questions or anything like that. There's some very loosely fish-based questions, and then there's some random questions. It's all about having fun. So you join along. You have to click on that link, preferably on another device, unless your device does split screen. A lot of people have tried to answer the questions in chat. That's not how it works. You have to answer them on the quiz. And the way it works is you get points for being right and how quickly you are right. So the faster you answer correctly, the more points you get. It's multiple choice. So if you don't know, have a bash. And if you... I've seen people who have been down as low as like 15th, 16th by halfway through and they've ended up winning. Buxton Brewery Kingslayer. Avoid. Tastes like salt. Well, Kingslayer, was that not a... I thought that was a Northern Monk one, was it not? I'm sure I had that one a couple of weeks back. I shall consult the spreadsheet. Oh no, I'm doing a thing, sorry. Tastes like salt water. That doesn't sound good. No, I'm pretty sure I had the Kingslayer and quite liked it. Is that the one that we were talking about? It was being a funny colour last week. What's the pin code? The pin code is... You don't need the pin code. If you just click the link, it should take you straight through. But the pin code is 957635. 957635. We have 13 players. We've got Shadow, the Silver Dude, Juggler, No Coffee Nabokov, Ichthy, David, Dan, Graham Souness. Graham Souness, welcome. You're about to swim the channel. Fatherfish. Brian Hay, Got That Friday Feeling. Den and Passing Wind have all made it in. So you've made it in Passing Wind. Well done. We'll give you a few more minutes to get in, people. And then we'll get going. Yeah, it's that one. Fishfit liked the Kingslayer, but it was disconcertingly brown. Thumbnail idea number 2. I've been a mega plank, but it's fixed now. I don't like to put fixed in the titles because this seems to prove not true. Read too much into that one. I can't possibly read it out again. If you log in with your Google account, you have to have the PIN code because it kicks you out of your link. Oh, I'm sorry. So anyone that's trying to join, it is 957635. My Fish Tanks Aquatics has joined as well. So if you want to get in on the quiz, you sure you're not drinking Brewdog? The CEO is rumoured to enjoy activities with sharks. Right, are we ready? Are we ready? Let me move. Oh no, what's going on here? Hang on. Some things need to be adjusted. Not that thing. Oh God, what's that? Why is that doing that? Right, we shall turn off the quiz questions. That's all the people we've got playing so far. We've only got 14 players this week, so it's up for grabs for anyone who's ready. Here we go. Welcome everyone to the Friday night pub quiz from not a pub, but we have beer. Are we ready? We'll click start and get going. Question number 1. Which one of these is a crustacean? I'm going to mess around with the picture a little bit while you answer that. There you go. Which one of these is a crustacean? Is it a clam, a scallop, a mussels, or a lobster? It's one of them. It is, of course, a lobster. Question number 2. In which racket sport, I don't know why they spell racket like that, can someone play a shot called a boast? Is it badminton, tennis, squash, or table tennis? In which racket sport can someone play a shot called a boast? The picture is not a hint. It's squash. Your first vaguely fishy question. In which decade of the 20th century did the Spanish artist Pablo Picasso die? Pablo Picasso once painted a fish, so this counts as a fishy question. Was it the 1930s, the 1950s, the 1970s, or the 1990s? Surely you spell racket R-A-C-K-E-T. Picasso died in the 1970s. Fresh water has a higher density than salt water. True or false? Again, this counts as a fishy question because it mentions water. The fishy questions in the Friday night fishy quiz are getting more and more tenuous. I will give you that. But it's more about the fun. Shadow in an early lead. Will it last though? Of course it's false. Salt water has a higher density. The Catskill Mountains are chiefly located in which US state? Is it New York, California, Ohio, or Colorado? Colorado. That's where I spent a month in a golf exchange trip when I was a young man. Again, this is just a picture. This might not even be the Catskills. Don't choose based on the picture. It's New York. What does Walter White teach in Breaking Bad? Physics, maths, biology, or chemistry? So Walter White, a character in... Oh, chemistry. Everyone got that one. Sharks, rays, and other cartilaginous fish have scales that look like teeth. What are they called? Titanoid scales, ganoid scales, placoid scales, or sharks don't have scales? Which one is it? Juggler has leapfrogged over Shadow. Ichthy also in joint second place. David just slightly fell further behind, only marginally further behind that silver dude. It was placoid scales. Name this movie. Toy Story, Moana, Pocahontas, Die Hard 4. Sorry, that made me laugh. I wrote the question and it made me laugh. This also counts as a vaguely fishy question because there's water in it. Dennis is just... It's not working for you, Dennis. I'm sorry. We might have to try a new quiz thing because I'm not sure people don't cheat at this. Moana, it was. What is the name of the football team managed by Ted Lasso? Is it AFC Richmond? Is it Richmond Rovers? Is it Richmond United? Is it Richmond City? I'm a latecomer to the whole Ted Lasso thing, and it's fantastic. It's AFC Richmond. What is the sixth word of the lyrics to the Cheers theme tune? Dun 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 dun. And they're always glad you came. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, you're missing out if you don't know who Ted Lasso is. It's fantastic. I've cried twice watching that. And it's a comedy programme. It was World. With an increase of surface area to volume ratio, what happens to the rate of gas exchange? Is it A, gas exchange decreases? Is it B, fish breathe faster? Is it C, oxygen decreases? Or is it D, the rate of gas exchange increases? That was a hard one to read, never mind. Say if you don't know. The rate of gas exchange increases. I'm going to make him enough or he can't refuse is from which film? Is it from A, The Godfather, B, The Godfather 2, C, The Godfather 3, or D, the little known fourth version of the Godfather trilogy, Godfather 4? Juggler still in the lead, only by 3 from that silver dude. Ichthy in bronze place at the moment. It's the original Godfather. Which song topped the UK charts for the longest unbroken run? Is it Wet, 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 Love Is All Around? Drake, One Dance? Bryan Adam, Everything I Do It For You? Or Ed Sheeran, Shape of You? These are all in the top 10 of songs for the longest unbroken run, but which one was at the top? Bonus points if you're willing to come on stream and sing it. It was Bryan Adams, Everything I Do It For You. Adjusted for inflation, what is the highest grossing movie in this list? Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope, Jaws, Titanic, or Jurassic Park? Which is the highest grossing movie out of them? Crying watching a comedy show, you need final space. That'll break you multiple times. Maybe it's just me. Oh, I'll need to look at that. A fish gill cover is called a perineum, an operculum, a dentine, or a breathy flap. I kill me. In case you don't know, it's not a breathy flap. What killed the Russian Emperor Alexander II? So, if you don't know Cheers, you don't know Fish, you might know history. A gun, a bomb, a sword, or drowning? Gun, bomb, sword, drown. What killed Russian Emperor Alexander II? So you can't say I don't have a little bit of everything for my Friday night quiz. Dee Dee's Finden is in. It was a bomb. Question 17. What is this fishy Pokemon called? Magikarp, Goldfrap, Fintrick, or Pikachu? What is this fishy Pokemon called? A young people's question. I knew this one and I'm old. For Magikarp. Question 18. Which of these is a jawless fish? Lamprey, moray, eel, stingray, or turbot? For those of you interested in playing along at home, I'm now moving on to Heathen by Northern Monk. This is where cohesion and ability to speak goes downhill. It's quite strong. Ichthy storming into the lead. It is, of course, a lamprey. What country is this? Norway, Sweden, Denmark, or Finland? It's tight at the top. There's only a few points separating the top three. Norway, Sweden, Denmark, or Finland? We don't have gas mask on. You would have known this straight away. Pardon me. Cheers all. It was Sweden. Which Jean-Claude Van Damme film is the highest grossing? Kung Fu Panda 2, The Expendables 2, Universal Soldier, or Street Fighter? We are going to have one Jean-Claude Van Damme question per quiz. So if you want to gain an advantage, study JCVD knowledge. Oh, that's delicious. That's the best of the bunch. Amazingly, or not, it's Kung Fu Panda 2. Congratulations! Juggler has won. Is that 3 weeks in a row, Juggler? 3 weeks in a row with plus 300 points. Ichthy, a close second with 270. That Silver Dude made it into the top 3. Well done, that Silver Dude. Brian, David, Dan, a shadow of his former self. He's another 3-time winner. Passing Wind doing okay. Kenny Kilpatrick, Fatherfish down at 169. But outstanding victory once more for Juggler. Well done, Juggler. You have won 20% voucher off thing. Email me that thing. And we'll even say everyone else can have a 10% and we'll sort it out. Anyone who joins Discord and says, I played the quiz, just tell me who you are and I'll send you a voucher. Congratulations! Oh, we need to do my favourite part, is we look at the insights and see who's stupid. I didn't mean to say it like that, sorry. Which one of these is a crustacean? Only Kenny got that one wrong. In which racket sport could someone play a shot called a boast? Oh, I thought most of you that got that. My thinking with that one was that they were all fairly popular sports except for squash. Not a lot of people play squash, so well, it must be that one. In which decade of the 20th century did Picasso die? Only 2 of you got that one right. I thought it was too easy when I put that one in. Oh dear. Freshwater has a higher density than salt water. True or false? A fairly even split with that one. The Catskills are chiefly located where? I thought all our US people would have got that one right. Silver Dude got it wrong. No. Oh, everyone. No, not everyone. What does Walter White teach in Breaking Bad? Only Clark's Mini Fish Room didn't get. Not a fan. Clark's Mini Fish Room. Sharks, rays, and other cartilaginous fish have scales that look like teeth called. Well, I thought more people would have got that one right. Did you all go for sharks don't have scales? Name the movie. Only Dan and Clark's Mini Fish Room got that one wrong. What is the name of the football team managed by Ted Lasso? So, I'm interested to know here, if you are playing along at home and you get a question you don't know what the answer is, do you just immediately decide, I don't know, and hit a button to see if you get past his finger? Or what's the strat? What are you playing? What's the sixth word of the lyrics to the Cheers theme tune? Have I still got this up? This was hilarious. This was the first song I ever learned to play on piano. Because I remember watching it with my mum and dad when I was younger. Making your way in the world today. So it was World. Takes everything you got. With an increase of surface area to volume ratio, what happens to the gas exchange? He did well there. Most people got that one right. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse is from which film? I like that I used the Godfather trilogy there and then put in a fourth Godfather film. Hopefully nobody went for that one. Yeah, most of you got that one right. Well done. Which song topped the UK charts for the longest unbroken run? I thought everyone would know this one. They were the songs in order of who had the most. Adjusted for inflation, what is the highest grossing movie? Oof, almost nobody got that one. I thought that would have been easy. Surely you knew Star Wars did really well. Fish gill cover is called, so this was a very obvious fishy question. Yeah, most of you got that one right. Wow! Nobody got any of them. Nobody got this one right. What killed... I even said what? What killed Russian Emperor Alexander II? Don't you know your history? The fishy Pokemon, everyone got that except Brian and Father Fish. But Father Fish is 500 years old. Why would he know what a Pokemon is? He's too busy shouting at clouds. Which one of these is a jawless fish? And most of you got that one. What country is it? Oh, only a few of you got it. It was Sweden. I thought that was quite a hard one. I must admit, that was a low-ball answer for Gas Musk, who just decided not to turn up this week, so that was a waste. Which JCVD film is the highest grossing? It was, of course, Kung Fu Panda 2. Yeah, a few of you got that one right. So, nothing too embarrassing, except none of you know how a Russian died. Oh, what's that mean? No, that's nothing. Small face, big face. Right. Congratulations, everyone. One more round of applause for all our winners and players. You send me a message on Discord to say, I won a thing, remember? Because I forget easily. And I will send you a code that will give you some money off your next purchase at aquariumadventures.co.uk. I got the assassination question right, but I wasn't playing, so bet. Doesn't count, we don't believe you. Why weren't you playing? Come on. We need more players, make it more fun. Right, where do we get up to? Happy with 7th. Well, no. I'm amazed people get... I think if I was to play this, bearing in mind I write the questions, I think if I was to play this, I don't think I'd come in the top 10. See, by the time I get to it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good question. I wonder who thought of that. Oh yeah, it was me. More Disney questions, please. Yeah, no problem. So we've kind of settled onto a rhythm. We're going to have a silhouette question. What country is this? We're going to have a Jean-Claude Van Damme question. We're going to have a movie and a music question. So that's 4 questions you can guarantee we're going to get every week. I'm happy to go along a theme. I'm going to try and get at least 5 fishy questions in each week. But it takes me a disproportionate amount of time to write this quiz. Pardon me. Juggler's an AI. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is a robot. That's 3 weeks in a row. And they're all over 300 points as well. There's something fishy about this. I keep calling him a cheat, but I don't mean it. I hope you're not taking it personally. I'm also interested in if anyone does use any other programs, or if there's a better way to run this quiz. I'm all ears, basically, because I'm not sure this is definitely the best way to go. Oh dear, pardon me. Clark had to go halfway through. That explains it a little bit. On true or false, I get dyslexic and mixed up. Yeah, well, that is the trouble. It was a badly worded question. I thought that might trip people. It was like a triple negative, wasn't it? So Kaylee's approach to this is, if I don't know, it's just eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Because I think I was looking at some of the older quizzes, and there's some questions that I've put in that it's impossible to know. And there's the same people each week seem to just immediately answer, and I'm like, well, if you can't possibly know, are you just guessing as quickly as possible, hoping that everyone else is? Turns out I don't know, so then guess. So you can't possibly be the fastest at that point. So you may as well be fast and wrong as slow and wrong. This is the first quiz I've ever seen where one of the answers is a taint. I try and think of a logical answer if I don't know the answer. If nothing comes in 2 or 3 seconds, I just guess it. But I think that's probably a solid approach. I haven't seen one Godfather. If there were 6, I wouldn't know. Oh, God. How can you not have seen The Godfather? It's one of those films, it's one of those trilogies that's probably up there that even if you're not a fan of the genre, it's like one of those, you just have to watch this film because it's like one of the masterpieces of film history. It's very good. And I say this as someone who didn't actually like The Godfather the first time I watched it. There was a lot of... So it's quite a tough watch in that there's a lot of setup and there's a lot of background, especially the Godfather 2 when they go to... Now we're into Graham's film reviews. There was just too much time, like in the first one, there's too much time spent at the wedding, like watching everyone have a good time and dancing at the wedding, but I get why they did it. And then when they went to Italy, there's too much time just spent faffing about in orange groves or whatever. But that said, you're engrossed in watching it all. It's a very subtle manipulation of your brain. But yeah, it's definitely worth watching. So if you do nothing on this bank holiday weekend, set away some time to watch The Godfather, and then you'll get loads of cultural references. Scott says, what happens most weeks is the right answer was either my second answer or the one I changed away from. He got shot, not bombed. What, Alexander? Not having this. The assassin Nikolai Ryskov threw a bomb which damaged the carriage, prompting the Tsar to disembark. At this point, a second assassin threw a bomb that fatally wounded Alexander II. So not only was he not shot, he may have been shot, but he was killed by a bomb after someone threw another bomb at him. So 2 bombs. So, I thoroughly researched that question. And isn't there like a famous rhyme about him being killed by a bomb? Got the wrong person. Question for Graham, I'll let you think about it. A German king drowned in a lake outside his castle. The castle is Neuschwanstein. The castle's likeness is used in what major logo? A major logo with a castle in it. Is it an American thing? Is it like White Castle or something like that? Is it He-Man, Castle of Grayskull? What has a castle? It's not a beer. Is it some kind of beer? I don't know. I pass. Mark, good evening. A bit late tonight. That's quite alright. No problem. Some German football team. What is that? The castle thing? Disney. Disney Castle. Oh, there you go. Aquaballs. With the question of the day, are Jean-Claude Van Damme and Rob Van Damme brothers? Or is it just an acquaintance? Or one of them changed their name to match the guy things? I met Rob. Do you know what? I'm going to have to Google that because I'm pretty sure JCVD, RVD is RVD JCD brother. That's one of the immediate Google searches you get. Well, the two do share a lot of facial similarities. Small face. They are no way related. RVD's real name is Robert Alexander Satskowski. He's a 51-year-old from Battle Creek, Michigan. Van Damme, meanwhile, is 61, hails from Brussels, Belgium. And fans of the quiz will already know that his real name is Jean-Claude Camille Francois van Waardenberg. So, there you go. No. They are not brothers. This and Kahoot are basically the best. Yeah, Kahoot I've used as well. That's what they use in schools and things. My wife's a teacher and she's always going on about Kahoots. It's what teachers do when they're bored and they don't want to teach. They set some Kahoots. Kahoot's what I used at school. So, passing wind, if I know what, I put the answer in. If not, I take a guess. Although it helps if I read the question all the way through to the end like I didn't do in the Picasso one. I'm not having this nonsense. Fishfet says the JCVD film was a bit poop, given he has like 5 lines in the whole film. No. That film would not have made that much money if JCVD was not in it. Would have made maybe a whole % less. Picasso, I've never liked his work. He either needs glasses or can't draw. Yes, I'll take that passing. When the Godfather is required knowledge, it's almost like a... I just think there's so many cultural references that talk about the Godfather, and it's not just the whole "I'm making you an offer you can't refuse," all that kind of stuff. I remember having some interns and or apprentices in, and I said that to one of them. "Well, I'll make you an offer you can't refuse." And they were a bit like, "Okay, great." I thought, no, like, from the Godfather. Oh God. It's hardly a JCD film. It is. It's a film he's in, and it made a load of money. Another one that hasn't seen it. And another one that hasn't seen it. Right, okay. Next week's live stream is just us watching The Godfather. I'll get copyright struck from here to oblivion, but we'll be doing a service. I get put through war movies, not classic movies. It's not a classic movie. It's a classic movie in that it's a classic, but it's a classic movie in that it's a great movie. And when you watch that film, so many other films make more sense. I've not watched it either. Oh, God. What's wrong with you people? Can I unsubscribe from my subscribers? I bet Rebecca's watched the Princess Diaries trilogy, though. Hey, let's not be doing down on the Princess Diaries trilogies. I've watched that myself. Titanic is overrated. Fair enough. I've not seen Godfather, but I've seen Gladiator a few hundred times. Right, so take one of those times you've watched Gladiator and swap it out with Godfather. Let's make a list. What are the most overrated or underrated or must not miss films that you could possibly put in your arsenal of must-see films? I think we've got to have... Godfather's got to be in there. If we stick with the mafia genre, Goodfellas. It's almost a perfect film. What else has to be in there? See, I wouldn't even put Gladiator in there, but... what was the one that I really struggled with this? The Deer Hunter. That's a hard film to watch. Apocalypse Now, that's a hard film to watch. But once you get through them, you get an appreciation for them, and you get to the point where you're like, right, now I understand why all these other films that I like made the choices they made. Mark says, I got a few of The Last Stinker into the UK today. End of an era. It is a bit, yeah. Apparently most of their breeding stock has been sold to super cichlids in the US. I struggled with The Godfather. I mean, it's not an easy film to watch. That is a thing, and I'll draw the comparison that I did with beer. So when I started on this beer journey of the acquired taste, and I made that statement about why do things need to be an acquired taste? Some things already taste nice. I'll just stick with them. If I didn't learn how to appreciate beer like this, I'd be happy with Heineken, with Stella, with Carling. It's only because I'm pushing through the pain barrier to learn how to love these beers that I appreciate the extra effort that goes into them. And it's the same with films like The Godfather. So the one that really struggled with me was Deer Hunter. I think it took me a good month to watch that. I tried so many times, I just could not get through it. It was so... part of the problem was... So part of the problem was I was working night shift at the time I decided to watch The Deer Hunter. So I would come home in the morning, This was before I was married and had kids and stuff like that. I'd work a 12-hour night shift. I'd come home. I'd stick on a film or whatever it might be, or TV. There used to be this series about science that was on the Discovery Channel, and I just have great memories of coming home and going, that's amazing. And I think it's just because I was kind of stir crazy after doing a 12-hour night shift. But I decided I was going to watch Deer Hunter. I remember I could do like 20 minutes at a time and I'd either fall asleep because it was so boring, or get quite disturbed and not want to watch it. And it wasn't until I got through it all, I went, right, okay, I've made it through, so now I can tick it off. Yes, I've seen the Deer Hunter. And it wasn't until after I'd seen it and just had some time to sit and think about it and go, God, there's a hell of a lot of films that are referencing this, or there's a hell of a lot of films that use the same style that they used in this section of the film. And then I went to watch it again and I could not stop watching. It was like so once you'd got through it once and had a bit of time to reflect and sit and think about it, the second watch was like, Jesus, this is a hell of a thing. And it was the same with Godfather. I still struggle now to watch. It's those really long scenes where you're like, oh God, what's the point of this scene? Why are we having 15 minutes of someone dancing round a table? But it's when you think about it afterwards, when you go away and you come back and you watch it again, you think, oh, this is a build-up to something that's horrific that's going to happen. It's going to change the whole face of someone's life and how he's thinking about what he's going to... So, yeah, it's one of those films that makes you just sit back and go, wow, that was amazing. So, I'm fine with the films that you struggle with. Because I struggle with a lot of films. I'm not even a good film watcher. Most of the films, I can't remember the last time I went to the cinema and didn't fall asleep. It's that whole thing about it being like a nice, warm, dark environment. Doesn't matter, there's space fights going on. Pew, 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 pew. But I think that's just being a dad. Wow, I've been talking nonsense for a long time. Classics for me is Resident Evil, Hellboy. I did watch Hellboy recently. It's not as bad as I remember it. Yeah. Tried to watch Gladiator a few times, but something always happens means I end up not finishing it. Surely everyone can finish Gladiator. Everyone should watch The Abyss, Sod Godfather. No. Is The Abyss the one where it's the water head thing comes up? Yeah. No, that's not good. But no, everyone's good. It's whatever you like, isn't it? But Rebecca, you may want to look up the definition of classics. Now, I'm purposely trying not to be snobby about this, because I love some films that other people would think are ridiculous and hate them. So a classical film is your things like your Godfathers, your Deer Hunters, your Star Wars, whatever it might be. Something that defines a genre, creates something new, groundbreaking, whatever it might be. That's your classical film. Classics can be anything. Spaceballs, classic. I've immediately had a brain fart and I can't think of it. That reminds me of another one that I can't think of now. What's the one where... the Mel Brooks film where they're all eating beans. Blazing Saddles. God. Not a good film, but a classic. Right. Right, sorry, I'm miles behind. I'm just talking to myself now. Greatest cartoon film, How to Train Your Dragon, and sequels. I might not be far wrong with that one. They are good films. Greatest cartoon film ever, though? Iron Giant's quite high up there, surely. I'm pretty sure there's some cartoon films that have made me cry in the past. I'd have to have a think about that one. GCVD and RVD are cousins. No, they're not. Nothing to do with each other. Not even slightly related. Paul McCarthy, hello. How are you doing, Paul? I'm not having any of this. Kung Fu Panda 2 had Gary Oldman in it. JCVD is inconsequential. He's not in anything that he's inconsequential in. Nope. I mean, sometimes people say there's grey areas and everything. There's no right and wrong. You're wrong. What reduces views the most? Pot noodles or copyright movies? Ooh, we might have to find out next week. I mean, pot noodles was horrific for my channel. Let's not forget that. But at least with copyright movies, if I played you all some good films and forced you to watch them, I don't know how I would force you to watch them, given that you can just unclick and go somewhere else. At least I'd be performing a service and doing something good for everyone. No spoilers for Titanic, please. I mean, they do all die at the end. Even the people that survive. Shawshank Redemption. Now, there's a film that definitely fits into the ones you have to watch. Even I'll go as far as Wrath of Khan. Definitely. That's one of the ones you have to watch. Even if you don't like Star Wars. Even Star Wars. I apologise to everyone in the entire universe. Even if you don't like Star Trek, you still have to watch The Wrath of Khan. And then I have a whole thing about him having a fake chest, but yeah, it's whatever. District 9. I mean, that's a good film I have watched. I wouldn't put it in the classic or classical categories, though. Deer Hunter is a classic. I would agree, Brian. Oh, hard film to watch. Try being forced to sit through the whole of Human Centipede. I forced myself to sit through the whole of Human Centipede. And I think this is the exception that breaks the rule. Where, yeah, it defined a genre. It broke barriers. It did things no other film has done. But I very much found myself getting to the end of that one going, yeah, maybe there was a reason no one else had done it. But people still talk about it. It's well known. Blazing Saddles, that was what I was thinking of. Yep. Right, we're going to set a third channel now of required watching. Films that you need to watch, even if you don't ever want to watch them again. Because sometimes, and this is one of the things I wanted to say about these films. I'm not Mark Kermode or trying to come off as any kind of film reviewer or anything like that. But some of these films helped me enjoy other films more. So because I've watched Deer Hunter, because I've watched Godfather. So Goodfellas is a good one. So a lot of people have seen Goodfellas because I was about to say it's a fairly recent film, but it's probably like 30 years old now. So Godfather was the 70s. Goodfellas was the 90s? Or the late 90s, I think it was. I think if you watch the Godfather trilogy and then watch Goodfellas, you have a very different experience than if you watch Goodfellas. And you can watch Goodfellas without seeing the Godfather and think, yeah, that was a good film. it's a whole different thing. It's very similar to the amount of times I sit down and I watch a film and I go, that's from, and I'm picking The Godfather here because we're talking about it, but even when it's not, even when it's also The Sopranos for once, a TV show which everyone thinks, oh, that's a great TV show. I remember watching it with my mum, I think it was, where there's one of the scenes where Silvio's in there and they've bought some, or they've stolen some suits or whatever it is, and they're trying them on, and they're doing scenes from The Godfather. So they're doing like, oh, even though when they thought I was out, you pull me back in, and all this, and my mum's going, what are they on about? They're just being gangsters. No, that's a scene from The Godfather. That's the whole thing. As Juggler says there, imagine watching Spaceballs without watching Star. Exactly, it's that whole thing. And it's not even just that. These are genre-defining films that span other genres. So I see it a lot, and so I watched a lot of Marvel films recently where all my kids are grown up. They love Marvel films. We go and see them. But even they make references to all these other different genres, and like, my kids do not get it. And I know they put them in there for the parents to get them, but it's that whole thing of, unless you've seen the genre-defining films, you don't get the references in all the other films. Training Day, great film. Yeah, I'd put that up there. The best stolen movie is Copland. It's probably the best film he's done serious acting in. But Rambo, Rocky. Rocky's a great film. And that's one of those ones where people go, it's Rocky, it's Sylvester Stallone going, it's not. He wrote that film. He went through incredible hardships to get that film made with him in it. It's a great film, and it's like the rags to riches story. It's the quintessential example of how you do a long shot comes good. How you do that's how you do that film, and it's perfect. It's perfect when it's like that. Smoking the Bandit. I did actually rewatch Smoking the Bandit fairly recently, and it does not stand the test of time, in my opinion. But yeah, I could be wrong, right? I've skipped past so many more. I've only got 10 minutes left. If you have an actual question, whether it's about films or fish or whatever it might be, remember, use the word question in your question and I will see it. Well, there's a good one. Juggler. The first time I watched Memento, I was mega confused. There's a website you can go on now where you can type in the film and you can see all the films that have spun from it. So Memento is one of those things. There's a name for the genre. I can't remember what it is, but it is the waking up and knowing that I had 24 hours of memory before I lose it again. And Memento wasn't even the first one of it. That was just the first one that came good doing that genre. But there's been loads of them, and it's amazing. Never seen Gladiator. Similar to Pirates of the Caribbean. No, not in any way. Pirates of the Caribbean is a film that was written because a ride was fun. Gladiator, while I don't think it's a classic or classical, is a good film But yeah, not even similar to Pirates of the Caribbean. My nemesis of films, the 80s. Oh, yeah, 80s Dune with Sting and Kyle MacLachlan. I fell asleep 5 times, but I knew it was. That's exactly the experience I'm trying to describe here. Where you know this is good, but God, it's hard work. You're not going to appreciate it in the first watch. You might not appreciate it on the 5th watch, but you know it's good. You might not always know why, but you know you have to get through it. And I share that exact thing with Dune. We had a VHS of Dune, and I kept confusing it with a Wrath of Khan that someone else mentioned earlier, because I think they had some of the same people in it. So I'd watch 40 minutes of Dune one day, and then the next day when I woke up, I'd watch 40 minutes of Wrath of Khan and go, but I don't understand what's going on. And it took me years to get through that, to finally understand it. To the point where it put me off the recent re-release of Dune, where everyone's been crying, "Oh, Dune! Oh, it's amazing! Oh, it's fantastic!" And it's just like, oh God, the first one was really hard work. And it wasn't until months later I thought, nah, the first one was really hard work. Oh, hang on, I kept confusing it with Wrath of Khan. That's why. Mark says, my best ever film, The Da Vinci Code. I'm not a religious person, but the story theory is epic. Yeah. I mean, they're not bad films. I read the books first, because these are all Dan Brown books, aren't they? Da Vinci Code and all that kind of stuff. They're largely bollocks and made up. So, even though they claim to be religious, it's all bollocks and made up. But they're good stories. So they're good stories, they're good films. Tom Hanks is in them. It can't be a bad film. But again, not quite making it into my whole classics thing. I'm trying to get through X-Files. Is that a classic? Well, yes. Because that was a genre-defining thing. That was a how you do sci-fi and mix in thriller, and you mix in it was like proper drama, proper storytelling. Until then, lots of sci-fi stuff was just about scary monster, bright lights, death to everyone. This was there's like a higher power that's controlling all this, and they're hiding everything. It was the first time you had a science fiction show that had like ulterior motives that were bubbling under the surface and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely. Blazing Saddles. Yes, it was Blazing Saddles. Beans? Eating beans is the whole story? No, it's just one of the main funny jokes, basically. Our juggler says here, eating beans, punching horses, and racism. But still funny. Yeah, funny racism. That's a hard sell. But it is funny racism. Because it's pointing out the racism. The racism is front and centre, and it's being racist to point out the racism rather than just being racist. Does that make sense? I sound like I'm like trying to defend racism here. No. There was lots of racist stuff in it to point out how stupid it is to be racist. That makes sense. Oh, there's one. The Last Samurai. Yeah, that is good. No, that Last Samurai is great, and it is a great film. I do love it. I've watched it several times. Struggling to go as far as classic. Tom Hanks is a funny one. Not Tom Hanks. Tom Cruise is a funny one. I find it difficult to get fully on board with Tom Cruise, and sometimes Jerry Maguire. It's in my top 5 favourite films, and I still don't know why. It's part of the genre-defining stuff, but it isn't as well. It's a tricky one. Same with like Maverick. recently. That was a great film. That was a classic film. That was redefining a genre, if anything. But it made me go back and watch Top Gun and made me go, Top Gun was a bit shit. So is Maverick a bit shit, but less shit than Top Gun? You should do the top 10 cheesiest movies. I call Deep Blue Sea Deep Blue Cheese. Green Mile. Now there's a good film. Yep. Oh, Brian Watt, Casino, definitely. So, Casino is another one that I don't think if you watched Casino on its own and didn't know that The Godfather existed or Goodfellas existed even, Casino wouldn't make as much sense. Or wouldn't be as good, maybe. Jaws, definitely, that's up there. Right, we've only got like 2 minutes left. I'm going to scroll through and see if there's any questions that say question. Life of Brian, one of the best comedy films. Yes. It's not even my favourite Monty Python. It's not even my favourite Monty Python film. Holy Grail's my favourite Monty Python film. Why is everything gone away? There you go. Question. Just started the whiteworm culture for my Discus. Are they a treat for food or can they be fed on a regular basis? They can definitely be fed on a regular basis. They just can't be the only food. You're not going to sustain a fish on whiteworm culture alone. But yeah, feed them every day. If you've got enough to feed them every day, definitely. But you're going to need something else as well. Jurassic Park's got to be up there, yeah, again. Jurassic Park, the perfect blend at a perfect time between stop motion, CGI and live action. I think that was like the perfect example. Other films like Marty McFly, Back to the Future films, they're never going to be old because they're perfect examples of a genre. Ghostbusters, yeah, Ghostbusters. Back to the Future went down brilliantly. Teen Wolf, though, not as good as I remember. Yeah, very similar juggler. Ghostbusters, because that's got some new films as well, I think that's what lends it to it. It's where you can see what started it. But I think the newer films are very different to the old original Ghostbusters. Back to the Future is just a classic. It's timeless, it fits, everyone understands everything perfectly. Teen Wolf was way darker than I remember it when I first watched it. So, yeah, that did not translate. The new Dune movie is good. I've still not really seen it properly. I've been put off by the old Dune movie, and I've only been put off by that because I was confusing it with Star Trek so much. Top Days of Thunder Gun. Now there's a couple of films. Top Days of Thunder. That was a good film. I enjoyed Days of Thunder. Next week quiz, just put up quotes and we have to name the oh, would you have up for that? I think I could do that. Quickly back to fishy things. I received a packet of Pleco sticks. I received a packet of Pleco stick-on tabs, and the packet is crawling with little fleas. Fleas. Ooh. Not for me, I hope. That does not sound good. No. Your packets of your food should be hermetically sealed, so as you don't get anything like fleas or mites, as Rebecca's suggesting there. That sound like something's gone wrong. So either some moisture's got into the packet, or there's been a cut or a slit or something, and something's got into it. If that's something I've sent you, I apologise. Send it back, or don't even send it back. Just put it in the bin. Just send me an email, and we'll send you some proper stuff. But don't use that. It's gone funny. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, I do like all those films. And again, genre defining. They're from Heron's Fish Foods. Oh, thank God, that's not for me. E.T., yeah. Do you know, E.T. is a film that I bought on Blu-ray for my wife when we got married, and she's still not watched it now, like 20 years later. I love Grease too. I have seen Grease too. I'm struggling to put that in that category. Goonies. The epic Goonies. Yes, definitely Goonies. And that is a great film. It's like a kid's adventure film that stands the test of time. Go and watch Goonies tomorrow. It's still good. Right, we have reached that time. Thank you all ever so much for joining me. All 40 of you that made it here at the peak. I guess a Friday night where it's sunny, people find better things to do. But those of you who joined me tonight, thank you very much. It's been emotional. It's been fun. We'll see you in the next one. I'm sure there will be other people you can go and watch now. Some people might be putting there you go. Coldwater Aquatics streaming now. Tell them Graham sent you. Go and enjoy that. If not, go and click on the Discord link and we'll see you in Discord. Other than that, we'll see you next week. And I hope you have a fabulous bank holiday weekend. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.